Now we're going to go into our speakers. First up, we have Juno Obedin-Maliver. She was a former CLPP conference coordinator, so you had my job a few years ago. And you're from the Stanford Medical Student. You're a Stanford medical student and a founder of the Stanford LGBT Medical Education Research Group.
It is an incredible honor to be back here. Almost 5 years ago today, I stood at this lectern, as Courtney said, as a conference coordinator, poised to start a new phase in my life as a medical student. I had spent the previous 4 years in relation to Hampshire. I'm a Hampshire alum as well. A CLPP volunteer, CLPP RASCI intern, and then as one of the team that helped put on this conference. And when I stood here about to enter medical school, I was both hopeful and, to be honest, scared. I was hopeful because at CLPP and at Hampshire, knowing that there was a wide and growing net of activists to support me and for me to support them, that I could do my part to make fundamental change to the healthcare system to support reproductive health and freedom for all people. I was hopeful that I could be an advocate for women's health, for abortion rights, and LGBTQ health rights, and access that is so desperately needed. And I felt confident knowing that I stood on the shoulders of giants, some of whom you've already heard from, and who we will continue to hear from, all of you. And in this place, I fortified my language and skills, and this conference helped me build that confidence. But I was scared. And when I told most people that I was scared to go to medical school, they said, well, sure, starting medical school is scary. Long nights, sleepless hours, and increasing responsibility for another person's lives, another person's health. But most of all, I'll tell you what I was scared of was that I might compromise, that I might lose the vision, the language, and that my decisions would no longer be sourced from a dedication to justice. That the fervor and the ceaseless dedication would succumb to very real physical, emotional, fiscal, and insidious cultural demands of medical school and the medical establishment as it is. But as Pema Chodron says, where there is fear, there is power. And in medical school, I learned to refine the language that I use and to pick my battles carefully. And I found that through this process, I have even more ways to talk about how barriers to reproductive justice affect us all and hinder us from having the fullest expression of our health in our lives. And ironically, the conservatism of medical school made it easy to act because in many ways, the discussions are low-hanging fruit. In many ways, it was like the first 2 waves of feminism hadn't even broached the shores, much less the third. So as a medical student, I helped to bring gender and sexual orientation into our non-discrimination policy. Most of our textbook talked about sexual preference, and gender isn't even recognized as how it pertains to people's health. And I helped bring in speakers to talk about the reality of LGBT health and bring in speakers, again, who talked about various abortion techniques. Because even at Stanford, which is pretty progressive and in the Bay Area as far as medical schools go, if you didn't attend one of these electives, you did not hear about abortion and you did not hear about LGBT health or rights. So, as I went through, I realized I was not getting what I needed, and my peers were not getting what we needed. And so as a group of upstart students, we established what's called the Stanford LGBT Medical Education Research Group. And thank you. It's the first of its kind, and our mission is to improve the health and well-being of LGBT patients and providers by conducting groundbreaking research to affect change in medical care. As you may or may not know, LGBT people have shown health disparities, but the research that shows this is incredibly limited and poorly founded. And so in order to make the claims that we need more health care, we first need to show how much is lacking. And so, because LGBT health, like abortion rights and reproductive rights, is limited by access issues and discrimination, We're going and we're talking to providers to make sure that they're allies and advocates, because we at LGBT Merge do not want doctors, nurses, and anyone else to be a bottleneck to people getting the health care they need. So, I want to encourage everyone to take your actions and go where reproductive rights and LGBTQ activists often don't go. And it's a shame, because it's easy. These conversations are not high-level conversations. The conversations that happen at this conference are way above the heads of so many people out there. We need to show our faces and show our diversity and speak truth to power in this way. So it's okay to be scared and uncertain, but please take your actions there, because we are needed and we can change, and you are fierce, and we can speak truth to power and make a change in this way. Thank you very much.